got a bad feeling about this. I'll go with you when you're ready to set up. Which one are we talking about? Came from the direction of Minato. Must be in the Nanohana field. If you're worried about your equipment, there's no harm in returning to camp briefly. It would be quicker if we could climb that root-covered rock face. Maybe we could use that. If we could just climb this rock face. I'm so sorry to put our town's problems on you like this. I can't tell you how reassuring it is to have someone like you around. see the field. This is bad. I'm sure I don't need to tell a hunter this, but powerful kemono like that Yamaugachi can influence the natural environment around them. So that's what they do, as far as I can tell. Alter their habitat to make it suit them better. And stake out more and more territory, basically. Sometimes they clash with each other in the process, which is fine, except when whole towns are overrun with plants or snow covers summer pastures. So if we let that king dusk think this is its patch, it could make the forest engulf Minato and leave us homeless. Alone? Do you really think you could? I can see you're a very skilled hunter, but... well... no. I suppose it's the only option. If you fight it, I'll do everything I can to back you up. Arigatou gozaimasu. If you need weapons, armor, anything at all, just let me know. But please don't do anything you're not comfortable with. Don't put yourself in danger.
fishing. Did you see the land retake its original form? By hunting the Yamaugachi, you reversed the influence of the kimono. Minato is but a stone's throw from here. You saved it from being engulfed. Such is the duty of the hunter. Yes, the karakuri in your chest is burgeoning well, it would seem. Learn to harness its power, and many karakuri will be at your command. The answer you seek is woven into your soul. You need only reach out and grasp it. As guidance, I can give you only this. Hunt. Hunt the kimono. But to part on such a banal remark would be ungracious. So let me offer one further insight. You notice the crust on the ground there? The pulse of the heavens that weaves through all things is stagnating. With each new dawn, it stagnates more. Little by little, order turns to chaos. Nature unravels. But you can make it strong once more. Break the crust. Let the pulse beat freely. Do that, and your compass will be set. Yes. Do you feel it? That is the pulse of nature. Unblocked. It beats strong here now. Order is restored. It nourishes the seed within you. Minato awaits. Proceed, hunter, with power renewed. May fortune follow.
Boy, you don't disappoint, do you?
It's all rotting away. The surrounding nature bent to its will. I can't quite believe what I just saw.
Neither can I. You really gave the thing hell. Seems I underestimated you.
Well, we're in the clear for now. So let's get that flying vine going and head back to Minato.
I can see Minato in the distance. Wouldn't this be a good place to use the flying vine? It's an odd-looking contraption. Is it really going to get us across?
A flying vine in the flesh. Boy, what a fantastic karakuri! We're nearly there now.
This has been a hell of a day. Well, we made it in the end.
I was starting to think we'd never see it again. But here we are. This is Minato.
Oh. So? Starting to feel at home yet? Really? Well, good for you then. Going out touting for business again today? Looks like you're settling in nicely. Tucker, with you doing the work of 2 or 3 men, the only job left for me is keeping my sake cup filled. Oh, quick! Looks like it's over. That was another big one. Feels like they're getting stronger every day. It's making the bridge repairs on the old Blossom Trail impossible, apparently. Not that it matters to you with all your karakuri trickery. Ah, I nearly forgot. You should drop in on the Hime-sama later. Our steward was asking for you before.
Irashai. Do you actually want anything, or you're just gonna stand there? You're in the way of other customers. If you want something, spit it out. I do good work, but I do it fast. If you want something, spit it out. Don't worry, I take pride in my work. Any other one?
By studying your equipment, I've been getting so much work recently, and my stock of materials is starting to run low. It's good for business, but I can't possibly fulfill all these orders with what I have left. So I was hoping you could gather some more materials for me. Not as a favor, as a job, of course. I don't suppose this was a problem back when all the karakuri were working. If you could bring me what I need as soon as you have it, I'd be ever so grateful. I hope it goes well. Just tell me what you need. Do you have something particular in mind? Metalwork. Have a think about which of my little ones you're most interested in. Can I be of service in any other way at all?
You must be the hunter everyone in Minato is talking about lately. I'm Ruri. Pleased to meet you. I do trade up and down the whole country. Right now, there's something you might just be able to help me with. I've been asked to supply some Spring Watch monitor materials, you see. Lots of them, and as quickly as possible. But there's only so much I can ask of my usual contacts, so... I was wondering if you'd be interested? I do some of it myself, but the truth is... well... never mind. Anyway, this is a really big order, so I'll make it worth your while. I hope you can help.
Oh yeah, いらっしゃい. Do come in. Look at you. The picture of health as always. Please spend as much as you like. Whatever your heart desires, you will find in the Crimson Treasury. You spoiled. What would you like to purchase? What would you like to sell me? Do you have all you need? I very much hope to see you again soon.
Your daily labors have not escaped my attention. You are a great asset to Minato. Ours is the only remaining settlement here in Azuma, once known for its fierce Bando warriors, who prevailed during the rule of the Ishido clan. With the demise of the Ishido governors, the region fell under the control of the Ago clan, but they see it as a worthless backwater. By appointing me as its steward, they neatly rid themselves of a great embarrassment to the clan. Their hope is that Minato and I both will simply vanish into obscurity. But arts and crafts made from kimono materials are still highly prized in the capital, though few are being made these days. Until your arrival, we had no hunters left capable of dealing with kimono as fearsome as the king tusk. Thanks to you, I sense the spirit of the town starting to revive. I am extremely grateful. Arigato. Speaking of the spirit of the town, you will have seen the windmill-like structure at the heart of Minato. The citizens call it the spirit wheel. I know nothing of the workings of Karakuri, so I have no idea how it could be made to turn again as I believe it once did. But it is my earnest wish to see it too, one day revived, turning proudly and purposefully above the town, as people prosper in the streets below. If only my hollow stewardship allowed me some small degree of influence. Forgive me, I digress. I summoned you to ask for your help. The capital is crying out for new handicrafts. With your skills at our disposal, I believe we may be able to oblige. They will require materials that can only be obtained from the Tsunobashiri, a glider kimono found on Natsugodachi Isle. I request that you hunt one. For some time, the hunters here have taken no prey beyond the Harigasumi Way, and the materials are all delivered to Suzuran-sensei for her studies. You may reach the isle by boat. Speak with the head of the Guild of Fishermen, Sumori Nobumitsu. I do apologize for asking so much of you, but this hunt would prove most valuable to the town. There is no great urgency, however. I understand you have many demands on your time. So many citizens are clamoring for your skills. It is my earnest wish that you oblige them also. In doing so, you afford Minato great strength.
Say, Hunter, how do you feel about a little job? We've got a problem with the irrigation canals. The water's no good lately. We won't be able to grow a thing unless we sort it out. Turns out it's because of a sap scourge laying claim to some land upstream. It'll end up killing everything. All the fish and all our crops. I don't feel good about it. But could you go and hunt it? Or it'll be the end of us.
Oh, you're a hunter then. I'm Ryozan, just a merchant. I had some business arranged here in Minato. But my man hasn't shown up. He's a hunter too, you know? A good one. I've bought things from him before, and he's always been very reliable. He promised me some deer antler this time. I hope nothing's happened to him. It's a worry. For his safety and my business. You couldn't go and look for him, could you? And maybe hunt a deer on the way?
Konnichiwa. Hunting again today? If you need any supplies, Kogyok-san would be delighted to serve such a lithe customer in her store. Her words, not mine. Did you know there used to be a bathhouse here? Sadly, the karakuri for heating the water stopped working. Now she has no customers and no one to care for her. Time brings us all to our knees in the end. Nothing lasts. 1 minute, you can be everything to everyone. The next, nothing. Worthless. Empty. It's the fate of all things. Karakuri. Kemono. People. Sorry, I'm being melancholy. Don't let my moves spoil your day. Kogyok-san has been...
Oh! Over here! Over here! All right. Looks like it's time to ship out at last. You took your time. I nearly nodded off. Especially with this beautiful weather we're having. So how are things? No shortage of hunting around Minato, huh? Found any big fish? Really? That's great. So, you need passage to the Spirit Isle, do you? Believe me, you don't want to go there unprepared. That's where the big fish are, if you know what I mean. The kemono on the isle are a lot tougher than the ones you've been hunting along the old Blossom Trail. I think the spine glider inhabits the south side of the island, but I don't know exactly where you find it. In days gone by, hunters had karakuri that helped them find their prey. Without something like that, you'll just have to trawl around for it the old-fashioned way. And hope you don't net something you can't handle. I don't know. Maybe you're ready for anything. But it wouldn't hurt to check over your weapons and armor before we leave. All right, if you say so. Looks like I was worrying over nothing. Oh, yeah, one other thing. You know the Guild of Fishermen handles everything to do with shipping? Trade as well as fishing. Well, we quite often run into trouble that could use a good hunter like yourself. So if you're ever short of work, just give me a shout. Of course we would reward you for your efforts. You said you were giving those spine... You want to know what's still to do? Here's the list. Right. Bye for now. Whoa! Someone's had a good hunt. I feel like there's... You want to know what's still to do? Here's the list. Right. You couldn't come with me for a minute, could you? There's a little thing you might be able to help me with. Yataro here is a bit stuck for some materials. I was thinking maybe you could gather them up for him?
I didn't ask for any help. Why are you sticking your nose in?
Come on. Stop being so stubborn. You were grumbling before about not being able to carry on with your work.
Maybe I was. But that doesn't mean I need help from an outsider. Do I look worried? I'm just... Oh, never mind.
You've got a solid offer of help here, Yataro. You'd be mad not to take it. Where's that list you showed me before of everything you need? Just give it to the hunter here, and we can all get on.
Fine.
Great. When you found everything, just give it straight to Yataro, would you? Arigato!
If you don't mind then.
They say that the spirit eye... Look at all these materials you've gathered for me. That's perfect. I'll be able to finish all my outstanding jobs now and nobody will be disappointed. There are fewer and fewer members of the Guild of Artisans now. It's a headache for the whole town. But it means the rest of us just have to work harder to pick up the slack. Minato's future depends on it. Anyway, you've been a big help. Arigatou gozaimashita. I'm sure I'll have another job for you soon enough, if you don't mind. There's a new type. Have a think about which of my little ones you're most interested in. I think that's about it. Which one are we talking about? I think that's about it.
Oh, that's a stroke of luck. I have a job for you, Hunter. I don't know if you know, but I make an ointment that's used by everyone in town. Thing is, when I went to gather the plants I need for it earlier today, every single one I found was withered and dead. It's likely because the kimono has settled in the place where I normally harvest what I need. I'm worried I won't be able to make any more ointment. And I'm worried that will worry everyone else. It's excellent for cuts and gashes, you see. People set quite some store by it. Without it, some wounds get Ugh, very nasty. I was hoping you might hunt the kimono so the plants start growing again. You'd be doing the whole town a huge favor.
You worked. You've been taking a few boat trips lately, I hear. For... hard at work as usual? You're no stranger to the Spirit Isle, are you? Takes me back, thinking about that place. I hunted kimono there not long after I first came to Minato. This body of mine was less creaky back then. I was escorting a gathering party, if I remember rightly. All of a sudden, there was a scream from the bay. A giant bird had tried to take a child, and the father was beside himself. But luckily for him, the gallant Daidoji Ujishige wasn't far away. I pulled the child from the kimono's clutches and dispatched the beast in one fell swoop. Well, I've always been skilled. Especially at talking myself up. But if you need proof, go and see for yourself. There's bound to be more of them. Ready to make off with another victim given half a chance. Oh, but if you are heading over there, don't take it lightly. That kimono was almost more than I could handle. Almost. I couldn't say if you'll be able to defeat it or not. But if you emerge victorious, I'll have to give you credit where credit's due. And if you don't, well, we'll laugh about it over a cup of sake. I'm looking forward to it either way.
Ah, you hunted a tsunobashiri for us, did you? Those spine gliders are tough. We owe you one. Arigato. You're clearly well able to do your job then. But how are you holding up? No strange sensations? Excellent. That's good to hear. You must tell me at once if you notice anything out of the ordinary. Having a karakuri implanted in your body may have consequences you're not expecting. The seed is a very old karakuri, the crystallization of wisdom amassed by the ancient hunters. It will make a deep physiological and mental connection with you. It allows its host to conjure and control karakuri, to influence the ki that flows through the entire natural world. In fact, until now, I honestly believed it was a fairy tale. I certainly never imagined that I'd see it with my own eyes. Yes, that's very true, but sadly it's not without its pitfalls. Firstly, I don't believe you can manipulate karakuri wherever and whenever you like. You've experienced that already, of course. You haven't been able to make use of karakuri here in Minato, for example, have you? Secondly, although the seed is said to contain the ingredients for a plethora of karakuri, it would appear you can't conjure them all whenever you like. I imagine there has to be some sort of trigger to stimulate the requisite memory. Given that it's a hunter's device, it seems reasonable to assume that those triggers will occur in the course of hunting activities. And thirdly, I dare say this is the most pertinent of the pitfalls from your perspective. The seed is deeply embedded in your heart. So deeply that one can no longer function without the other. What I'm trying to say is that if that tiny karakuri were to break, you would die. Now, it's not especially fragile, so there's no need to panic, but still, I would treat it with due care. Good. Yes, before you go, there's one last thing. There's a small task I'd like you to undertake. Or rather, The town elders have decided it should be done. It may even result in the first pitfall that I mentioned before being rendered moot. I think it would be quicker to show you rather than trying to explain further. Would you accompany me to the Spirit Isle? We can leave whenever you're ready. And Natsume will be coming along too. So a trip to the island. A boat trip. Unavoidable, I suppose. Oh, sorry. I'm talking to myself. As soon as you're ready, we'll set off together.
Oh, there you are. You can't afford to neglect the equipment that affords you protection, can you? Metalwork is so much fun, don't you think? Do you have something particular in mind?
Hey! You want to know what's still to do? Here's the list. All right. Bye for now.
I forgot how much I hate boats.
Are you alright, Sensei? You did say you'd explain what we're doing here when we'd arrived.
I'll be fine. So, there is an old ruin on the island here, where the natural flow of ki has stagnated. I need you to clear the blockage. I think... You said you tried it before, didn't you? In the Nanohana field along the old Blossom Trail. I'd like you to do the same thing here. I learned that a particular material is required for the job, and through meticulous research, I've managed to ascertain which kemono to hunt to obtain it. It's a kemono called Jigokuzaru, or lava back.
As far as we know, it's lived on this island since ancient times. Apparently, Minato's hunters have never been a match for it.
Even I can see that I'm asking a lot. But sadly, there's really nobody else even remotely up to the task. If it seems too much for you, return to Minato and reconsider your approach. We'd both be glad to advise.
I hear that the lavaback lives on the north side, but there are other kemono on the island too. Perhaps hunting some of those first would be a good plan. Then I can make you stronger equipment with the materials.
Let's hope this really does help Minato flourish again.
Sensei?
Sorry, I was muttering to myself. Oh yes, I nearly forgot. I've taken the liberty of adding a rather special karakuri to your gauntlet. I have a matching one, and together they'll allow us to communicate when we're too far away to speak to each other. It'll all become clear once you use it. We'll contact you in a little while, so don't be surprised if you suddenly hear our voices. Functioning well.
It really works! Let me see that!
Hands off, Natsume. I know you. Pull it apart.
But I always try to put things back together again.
Now, we'll help as best we can via this karakuri. right? Say something!
Well, well. Again we meet. It seems you have a knack for cheating death. As a hunter, I see you have grown. The fire in your eyes burns stronger now. Fitting that our paths cross here, in the sacred land of the ancient hunters. Traces of their aspirations remain, both within you and without. Once it was so that hunters were born here, raised here, and would die on this soil. But in time, they expanded their horizons, crossing the sea to Azuma. But that migration was only possible with the power of Karakuri. With the knowledge and technology possessed only by those hunters of old. Sadly, all that was no longer is. The haven the hunters built for themselves in Azuma was washed away by the rain of 1,000 days. A great flood that covered all the land. What few hunters survived dispersed northward or westward, taking with them what little knowledge remained of Karakuri. All that was left behind crystallized to become the seed. So you see, all that was left behind now exists within you. You need only hunt, and trust that in so doing, the seed will soon grow.
Over there! Look! Oi!
Sorry to keep you. Your successful defeat of the kimono means we can proceed with the... Oh, what's wrong? Really? I haven't seen anyone. This place is far too dangerous for most. Anyway, never mind. Let's get on with the plan. You remember we discussed how you're enabled to conjure and command karakuri anywhere you like? Well, the reason for that is intimately tied to a form of energy known as celestial thread. Think about when you create karakuri out of nothing. Tendril-like phenomena appear, don't they? That is celestial thread. It's the motive force behind all karakuri. If there isn't enough of it, karakuri can't operate. The larger and more complex the karakuri, the more celestial thread is required to power it. You've probably noticed already as you've been walking around that these ruins appear to be some kind of giant karakuri. We can only imagine that at one time it was functioning as intended until, for some reason, the celestial thread here dried up and it ground to a halt.
For some reason. Due to stagnation of ki in the ground, perhaps?
Precisely. Ki and celestial thread are essentially the same thing. The ki here is not flowing. Fix that, and these ruins should come alive. Legend tells that this place is actually an elaborate machine used to divert celestial thread to another location. And I'm sure by now you can deduce what location that is. Our very own Minato. Which means that if we're successful here, all the karakuri that have been gathering dust in Minato until now should suddenly spring to life!
I was starting to think I'd never see them working again. It's been so long.
What we're trying to achieve here is crucial to the survival of the town. The influence of the kimono is growing all the time, and we have no way to defend ourselves. Sooner or later, we'll be forced to abandon Minato. So after many long discussions among the elders, they decided we should work towards restoring the town's karakuri to give us the means to fight back. Which is why your task here is to use your skills to wake up this ancient place.
All Minato's karakuri working again. I just can't imagine it.
It's exciting, isn't it? I have memories from my early childhood when they were still working.
The wall is opening up.
And look at the celestial thread weaving its way. Oh, this I have to study.
So, we did it!
Yes, we did! A great success! You played your part perfectly. Thank you so much. Now, let us hurry back to Minato and see the transformation.
Yes. I can't wait to see what's happening around town. Let's go! ever dreamed this could happen. Everything is working again. It's like life has been restored to the whole town. Every karakuri is working again. Oh, then the karakuri at the forge will be... This I have to see.
Well, Natsume's happy. To be honest, there are dozens of things I'd like to experiment with, too. And if you wouldn't mind, I'll be needing your help with many of them. Wow. Isn't this something? I expect you're dying to look around town. I know I am. Just think of the dust flying off all those old karakuri as they spring back to life. The bathhouse near the town gates, for example. The hot waters will be flowing again. Ah, they don't need an attendant now. It couldn't have gone better. And it's all thanks to you.
Whoa! Talk about a surprise. Whoa! You want to know what's still to do? Here's the list. All right then. Bye for now.
Oya? What is all the commotion outside? The town, alive again with the hum of karakuri after all these years. Longevity lets us see so far into the looking glass of life. Dear Hunter, have you heard the unfortunate news? Of the corpse found along the Blossom Trail. They have identified the poor soul at last. A fine young farming fellow. Such a waste. It was a customer of mine who happened upon the tragedy on his way to Minato via the Harvest Canyon. And now he comes under suspicion. There is no doubt in my mind that this is the work of Kemono. Yet not all appear to agree.
Because it's hogwash. Dansuke wasn't killed by any kemono.
Welcome back. Is my account really so hard to believe?
It makes no sense. Dansuke had some of the fastest legs in town. There's no way he would have let a kemono get him. Besides, I happen to know he got into a fight with someone from your store the day before he disappeared. If you ask me, you lot did him in, and then tried to make it look like the work of a kemono. You! All the outsiders sticking together, is that it? You're not from here. Kogyoku and her Crimson Treasury patrons can't be trusted.
You see what dreadful ill will befalls me? Could you possibly investigate the matter? A hunter's eye is what we need to see if this really was the work of Kemono or not. Or so say the skeptical few.
Waste of time. I'm sure these snakes will have covered their tracks. But go on. Be my guest.
I leave it in your ever-capable hands.
Are you the hunter who went to the Spirit Isle? The one who made the wheel turn? It made G sound so happy. I wanted to say thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. G-san said it used to turn back in the day. That's before I was born. And he said it was a really big thing when it stopped turning. He tells me lots and lots of stories, you know? Oh, like the one about a huge tortoise on the Spirit Isle with coral on its back. Jason used to be a merchant, and he told me he saw a piece of his shell for sale once. Do you think there really is a kimono like that on the island? Could you go and have a look for me?
Why are all the karakuri suddenly moving?
Ah, I've been meaning to talk to you.
Did you make all the karakuri?
I just can't stop watching. It's so fascinating. This karakuri can maintain a higher temperature in the hearth. That would mean I could forge various materials I couldn't forge before. So I'll be much more used to you now. To everyone in Minato, in fact. The times I've tried and failed to get all the things in this forge working again. Most of this equipment has been gathering dust, but now it's had a new lease on life. Minato could thrive again, like in the old days. And it's all come about thanks to you. I honestly don't know how to express my gratitude. Nothing I could say would be enough. Just, arigato. Thank you so much. Now that the karakuri are all working again, I'm eager to gather the materials I need to make these little ones of mine really shine. And it's got me thinking. There's this old hunter's camp up on the highlands to the north of the Blossom Trail. I've passed it a few times when I've been out looking for materials, but since no one's been using it, it's fallen into disrepair. If we could whip it into shape, I'm sure it would be a useful base to head out hunting from. Which would be good for both of us. What do you say? Do you want to fix up the old camp together? I'm ready to leave whenever you... All right. Let's see what I can do for you. Can I be of service? You can't afford to neglect the equipment that affords you protection, can you? Can I be of service in any other way?
How are you doing? You want to know what's still to do? Here's the list. Right. You want to know what's still to do? Here's the list. Right. Let's catch up again soon.
All right, let's get this new camp set up. We should aim for the highlands to the north, just beyond the Sakura Cave. That's strange. It should be around here. What we need is a karakuri to help us find a camp. Here we are then. Let's get to work. finished over there. The camp's coming together nicely, I think. Time for a break, maybe? We can have a chat while we catch our breath. You came to Minato from the west, didn't you? Along the mountain path. That means you must have walked right around the foot of the secret mountain. That's what we call it. But people from Minato don't venture that way anymore. It was a sacred place for the hunters of old. Much like the Spirit Isle, I think. But I've never heard of any settlements or tracks that way. I suppose the weather's too inhospitable. Sometimes you see clouds of kocho fluttering around the mountainsides, though. It is pretty, but creepy in a way, too. They're called eternity ringlets, that particular type of kocho. I suppose because they gather by the injured and the dead. In the old days, some people even thought that humans in kemono turned into kocho when they died. Anyway, ready to get back to work? Let's get this camp finished off. Let's leave it there for today, shall we? Another one? They're getting very frequent lately.
Really? Interesting.
It was like a moving mountain. Honestly, I've never seen such a huge and terrifying kimono.
It reminds me of something I read in the records from centuries ago. A giant kimono ripped across the land. The castle, the town, the people, all were swallowed in rock. If this is the same creature, it would explain the frequent tremors we've been experiencing recently. Even the strange behavior we observed in the other kimono could be traced back to this giant.
All my life I've lived in Minato, and I had no idea such a kimono lived so close.
Well, kimono only stray outside of their territory in exceptional circumstances, and they rarely show themselves to us. Remember, all kimono, no matter how big or small, are sustained by the same energy, celestial thread. And since celestial thread is ubiquitous, they have no need to wander in search of it.
But then, why has this kimono... could it be because there's no thread left in its territory, perhaps?
Yes, that's my hypothesis too. I believe our giant is hungry. due to some great change in the flow of thread in its environment. Now, we recently flooded our town with celestial thread by restoring the karakuri on the Spirit Isle. So, unfortunately, we've made Minato look rather appetizing.
But that's terrible. That means this kemono is going to expand its territory this way and swallow us up.
I wish I could fault your logic, and I'm afraid we can't reverse what we've done. I had a nagging feeling that something might go wrong, but not this wrong. If only I had investigated the possible outcomes more thoroughly.
No one's to blame. None of us could have anticipated this. We didn't know anything. Wait. Didn't you say you'd encountered this bear once before? Heading from the sacred mountain towards Minato?
Oh. So that means it comes from a habitat to the north. And you're saying it was on the move even before our work at the ruins? But no, we don't have time to be pondering the cause. We must decide how to act, and quickly. Are you serious? I realize your hunting skills are exceptional, but no single person could dispatch a beast of that size. Even if everyone in town pulled together, the best we could hope to do is give it a nasty surprise to begin with before... No, come on, Suzuran. You owe it to Minato to fix this. Think now. Going along the Harugasumi Way, its enormous bulk will mean it has to descend into the river. If we can position Karakuri along the bluff, we might be able to defeat it before it hits the town. I think that's the only workable strategy at this point. I'll talk to the elders about preparing the necessary Karakuri. What I need you to do is buy us some time. Without a chance to prepare, I'm afraid we're doomed.
I wonder if I could... Sorry, I need to go and test something. Meet me later at the forge.
It's going to take all we've got to overcome this threat. The town needs your help now more than ever. Believe me, I'm doing everything I can think of.
Sorry to run off in the middle of a conversation like that, but I had an idea that couldn't wait. I'll come straight to the point. I need some kemono materials, and I need them fast. I started playing around with some new innovations after all the karakuri came back to life, you see. And I think I might have come up with a weapon we can use to fight that giant kemono. It's clearly a rock kemono of some kind, isn't it? Did you notice how its body was covered in deep crevices? And how kocho were fluttering around those parts in the same sort of way that they swarm over the corpses of kemono, or their wounds. Well, if those crevices are wounds too, they could be weak points. And with my new weapon, we could target them from the ground. Which is why I really need those materials. I'm basically after a large quantity of iron sand. More than we have time to dig out of the ground, though. But I've remembered that Nobu mentioned a rumor about a kemono that scatters iron sand. I'm sorry to be asking yet another favor, but do you think you could help?
If we can't live in Minato anymore, where do we go? I don't have anywhere else.
Oi, you're not allowed to look gloomy. Heard the news. Sounds like we're sailing into a real storm. I've seen how seriously you and the sensei are taking it. And I'll pitch in any way I can. Although, to be honest, all I can really do to help is get you manpower. But if you think of anything else, just shout. I'll do my best for you. Need me for something else? Iron sand? Ah! You're talking about the Tsunatsuzumi. Yeah, you see those grit dogs on the shore of the Spirit Isle from time to time. If you're looking for one, I can show you a place where they often seem to gather.